does.
There you go. Into the Kobe coffers of golden glue cards.
Let's see, though, because the analyst said, all right, they, put it to the gods of chance.
Okay.
And Jat pulled golden glue, so that means that they have to have a draft diff.
Okay.
Flowers, game number 1 needs to be golden glue draft diff. Let's put it to the test right now.
Let's go ahead and do it. Team Liquid have elected blue side. Sentinels are on last pick. Poppy, Vi, Caitlyn banned out by Team Liquid. Sentinels focusing the jungle pool. Honestly, this feels like a pretty standard play against TL these days. Josedeodo was looking fierce back at MSI, looking good in week 1. So they ban away his Lee Sin and Nocturne alongside the Akali as first pick goes over to TL, and they will happily lock in the Ezreal for Yeon.
Flowers.
Yes, sir.
Both of these junglers have champions that are target banned against them, though, and only one team has banned the target champion. Lee Sin for Jose checks out. He's one of the best in the entire world. But what about HamBak Skarner? That one drew bans previously. He's also already displayed, killing intent on his Qiyana. Was very, very good on the Wukong, on the Neferi. A lot of dangerous champions for him, but the Skarner really was one of the very big ones that Sentinels relied on pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And we also do have the Kai'Sa immediately locked in response here for Sentinels. So no mages bot this time around. Yeon and Rahel going to be piloting those AD carries. Sentinel sees the Ezreal. They know that supports want to roam in the current metagame, and Kai'Sa can assassinate that Ezreal in that isolated situation. So they'll draft that one alongside Jarvan here for Josedeodo in the jungle, or for HamBak in the jungle.
Yeah. Our Kai'Sa versus Ezreal. Very, very old matchup here. Looking for the dive comp. So Sentinels just going to fully commit to the dive comp early on with the Kai'Sa, with the Jarvan. Now, Jarvan into Ezreal specifically is not necessarily good, but they're looking for general dive anyway. I will suspect. It also means for mid lane, Quid is going to want to pick something that can deal with Cataclysm very easily as well, and is going to be thinking about dives. Something more on the safe end, not towards like the Orianna that has been left up here and it's been dangling. These low mobility control mages that in game number 1, are kind of floating around. It's going to make Team Liquid specifically want to veer away from those, seeing the early picks from Sentinels.
Well, we've got some engage power as well as some defensive capability here with the support pick for Team Liquid. Leona can be good at protecting targets that are getting dove, but can also function as a go button here for Team Liquid in their own right. Alongside that, Zhao also a very potent frontliner and space creator with the power of the Crescent Guard. And Sentinels are not going to continue copying role for role here in the draft in the first half. Instead, they will leave support for the second half of the draft, lock in the Gnar for impact instead.
And then I expect them to ban, like Vayne and, maybe Corki as well now. With people playing Corki and the Gnar, top lane as a counter. Like Yasuo counter, these other types of things to protect the Gnar. Because when you pick a Gnar at the end like this, it's like pseudo blind. Yeah, the enemy doesn't have their top laner, but also you get 2 protection bans.
Yeah,
and Gnar doesn't really need more than a couple protection bans. Usually, even just the Vayne, a lot of people are fine with. But there are options, right? There's the Corki, like we mentioned, Twisted Fate top lane. You can do as well. So we'll see the Jace as well. These range options into the Gnar are generally the preferred ones. Now, if Team Liquid want to just stick Morgan on a tank, they always still can do that, but I think they're going to go more of the lane style.
Well, we do have that Jason Vayne banned out like you're talking about on the Sentinel side. Nico, the ban from Team Liquid, targeting some powerful support capability there, as well as removing the Cassiopeia potential pick for DARKWINGS in mid.
It is interesting, too, because, we're talking about, okay, so TL are going to want to shy away from the, mid laners that are going to be vulnerable to Jarvan ganks. But Sentinels and DARKWINGS very well could still go into it. Like, they do have really good engage on their side, good dive for like an Orianna Shockwave to complement them. And they're going to make Team Liquid show what Quid is playing first to know if they're safe to actually pick it. Because with Jarvan and Rakan and Gnar, you have already really good dive options to set up for Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
And then whatever DARKWINGS wants to counterpick Quid with.
All right, Team Liquid, what are we going to do here with these solo lanes? Going to have to reveal them both. So to have any sort of flex potential, it would have to be something that could go two things that could go to either one of those solo lanes. 1 and 5 here on Ambessa so far in Summer Split for the LCS. Not a particularly effective win record for our arcane antagonist here in the first week and a half of gameplay, Mr. Kobe.
Yeah, I think the champion is fine, though. I think that's a user error on the loser's part.
the car runs good. The drivers just don't know how to keep it on the road. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so this is Quid's decision here. He's like, okay, fine. You have Jarvan jungle, whatever. I'll just get some mobility for myself, even though Sylas is a risky laner, being melee and having to trade your health pretty heavily for push on the minion wave. He does have mobility, and he does scale well with this team as well, since they themselves have the Ambessa, the Leona here, and now with the Sylas, they've got a lot of tools they can turn right back around onto Sentinels and just use against them.
And I also really like Sylas when Gnar is on the enemy team, since you can steal the ulti away, and it kind of cures what is the intended part of the counterplay for Gnar's ult, having to play around the Gnar bar. Sylas don't have that. Just slam people into the wall.
True. He just steals your Gnar ultimate. No Gnar rage required to be built up. And then also has a lot of other good options too. The Rakan ult is super nice for Sylas. Faker most notably probably making a very good use of that one in World Final stage. We'll see if Quid can emulate here.
Yep. Kai'Sa ulti also available for some of that emergency defensive repositioning and the massive shield that you can get in the middle of a fight if he has to play something a little bit more on the back foot. Now, yesterday, we saw some Ryze gameplay in the first series, and the Realm Warps did not lead particularly where Cloud9 would have liked them to lead. Here today, Sentinels is going to, I think, have to have a much greater efficacy on those Ryze ultimates if they want to make these plays happen.
So did yesterday, would that make you, would that break your trust now when you see a Ryze Realm Warp on your team?
Oh, yes.
You're not jumping in that thing head first. You're pausing, scrolling your camera around, wait a second.
Where is this going?
Yeah, where exactly are you sending me, and how many of you are coming with me?
Yeah, but this time at least, I like the fact that you have Rakan with the Ryze, because Rakan goes through Realm Warp, just immediately has quickness already primed and ready to go. It feels like he can spring that trap pretty effectively. Yeah. So I do want to keep an eye, particularly how well DARKWINGS and huhi work together with those ultimates in this game. But just looking at everything that we've got across the board here, we do have a teleport advantage on the side of Team Liquid, since DARKWINGS is opting for the double mobility summoner spells with the Ghost in his mid lane Ryze choice. So TL will have a little bit of extra map presence as our game goes on, but there's no summoner spell books or anything like that to add extra questions throughout the game. Good luck, Captain Canada, says Yeon, to which we receive an XD from the net.
Captain Canada. All right, let's see. Honestly, actually, this is a good time to pull up the history here for Impact versus Team Liquid.
Okay, what do you got?
Because Impact did very well in his time on Team Liquid. Not as well against them, but this year it has been 50-50. So that's better than his all-time versus Team Liquid. And of course, he shares a lot of camaraderie with a lot of players in the LCS, because he's played in the LCS for so long.
Yeah.
And has moved around, but especially, with the likes of Yeon and CoreJJ, of course, still on this team. And so always some friendly banter and some inside jokes as well. This is also Emily's matchup of the week.
We have a jingle for it now. I like that.
Turn it up, actually. I didn't really get the full,
you missed it?
I didn't get the full immersion. I think we should start to I guess that we're testing it now.
Yeah, we gotta make sure
if it goes over well, then we'll increase the volume each time.
Yeah, it's got to be calibrated correctly, as Team Liquid has their bottom lane calibrated for that early push. And Quid's got to be careful over in mid, though. Knocked down to about 56 HP, and he's got to take his first recall. Not really ideal, I wouldn't think. Only 13 minions collected. This first purchase not going to be particularly, exciting. Let's see what he decides to return to lane with. And the answer is lousy shoes. Some real crappy shoes.
Yeah, they're definitely not name brand.
No.
But We'll see if he can use them to roam, maybe. He got no sustain flowers is the key. Out of your recall here, out of your teleport back, no sustain for him. Meanwhile, DARKWINGS with the refillable potion on his walk back to mid lane. So we'll see. Jarvan wrapping around here through the back of the Raptor, back of the Dragon Pit, and HamBak looks like he's decided bot lane is the better choice.
Okay, HamBak will be the first jungler to arrive into a lane, finds his way towards this 2v2 in bottom side, but CoreJJ, the heal is all he has to spend, still has 2/3 of his HP left.
Yeah, it was nice from both sides there. CoreJJ, he immediately throws out the E towards the Jarvan to try and use him as a taxi to get closer to the tower. HamBak expecting this, sidesteps backwards, but that still gives CoreJJ enough space.
Ooh, huhi getting stunned up now. Nice engage again by CoreJJ. Sentinels has to be careful. Leona is such a powerful ball of stats in these melee engage style of support head-to-head. She can kind of just stat check anybody else, so as soon as she finds that good angle, means huhi and Rahel have to back up.
I do like that it's intuitive as well. If you put Leona side by side with Rakan, you would know from looking at them which is more tanky.
One is heavily armored with a shield, the other is some guy with feathers.
Full plate mail, giant like sun shield. And versus Rakan.
Versus some guy who doesn't even have a shirt.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to be able to...
No shirt versus full plate.
Yeah, it's probably not going to tank quite as much. But, however, the lack of shirt has allowed him to move briskly and dexterously across the map to make his way over to mid.
Meanwhile, Leona has also moved.
Yeah, she's clanked her way over here as well, having to walk with 100 pounds of armor on. But it looks like huhi still wants to see if he can get something here. It's like you said, that lack of sustain for Quid, although he did make a second recall. He went back and got his refillable now, but it's out of sauce. And he also has your favorite item in the game, Glowing Mote, that has such incredible impact when it's in your inventory.
It really does give you a lot of confidence when it's glowing.
It certainly doesn't give any real
it doesn't give you stats. It gives you confidence.
Just like, look, man, my inventory's not empty.
It's glowing there in your pocket. Meanwhile, Sentinels, they're going to be taking that dragon for themselves off of the mid lane push. Sylas constantly getting forced back. Again, as we said, no sustain on the first recall.
Yeah.
So Quid gets forced out of lane. He's got to go back to base, and that means they get the dragon. Meanwhile, top side, some friendly trading between top lane compatriots.
Yeah, Morgan goes in for the early public execution there on Impact. Does manage to hit him with a little bit of combo as Impact throws out the Mega Gnar. Doesn't get a whole lot of value besides clearing the wave out of that one. So both ultimates down. Of course, that's going to favor Impact since the Mega Gnar ulti comes back significantly more quickly. Yeah. Neither one of their teleports are available, but it's also important to note that teleports are pretty desynced here in the top lane. Impact has almost 3/4 of the cooldown already gone on his. He'll have it available here shortly, while Morgan is not even halfway there. So depending on what we end up getting a fight over, that could be impactful. However, I don't really think so, considering the first Drake has already been taken by Sentinels, and we've got another 2 minutes till the grubs are around.
Yeah, we'll see how it ends up because, side lanes are going to be a pretty big factor in this game with both comps. Later on towards the mid stages, and Morgan is the guy that replaced Impact on Team Liquid. So there is a lot of extra, extra mentality behind this matchup here. A little bit of extra incentive to do well and to win. And so far, Morgan is doing quite well, extracting a lot out of the 1v1 here. With the Ambessa versus Gnar in the early stages, getting that much of a lead, plus the turret plate, is very nice for himself. Gets the wave bouncing back right towards him into a really good spot. So Morgan definitely showing up so far.
Ooh, and meanwhile, bottom side, as soon as they have the level 6 on Yeon, CoreJJ takes the opportunity to jump in after Rahel before the Kai'Sa unlocks her own ultimate with the Killer Instinct. That would have done a lot more damage. You could see Yeon went to prime Rahel with the W and then try to proc it with a True Shot Barrage, but Rahel is able to get out of the way of the ulti in time. Would have been a massive chunk if that would have connected, but nicely played from Sentinels to avoid disaster.
Yeah. Meanwhile, push will continue in mid lane as well. Want to see if this Ryze is going to be able to take advantage of that to roam. Realm Warp, Ghost, and Flash. So much mobility for DARKWINGS, and makes the look towards bottom as they were crashing a wave, and had HamBak coming over as well to drop off some vision, but Since it's just going to be the reset timers for the TL bot lane, they're going to just reset themselves anyways, so DARKWINGS will pick up his full Catalyst here. Catalyst and the Tiras.
Ooh, nicely done here from Impact, going in after Morgan, but now he has to be a little bit careful. Public execution from Morgan does make sure that he can return a little bit of damage to the top laner.
And it's spicy because the grubs have already been started by HamBak, so with the top laners trading that heavily to get the push of the minion wave in, there's possibilities for action as the supports roam timers have come up here too. But it looks like off of that push from Impact, they are going to be able to secure the first 2 for Sentinels.
Yep.
And extricate themselves from the objective.
It's just the general simple strategy for grubs. Get the first one without your smite, secure the second one. Cool, you got 2 out of 3. If they show up, you can bail away from the pit. But now in the bottom side, this is what I was talking about. Kai'Sa trying to assassinate the Ezreal. Yeon going forward, but he misses the last Mystic shot. And Sentinels brings in the backup to make sure they get first blood.
Team game, Flowers.
Team game.
It's a team game. The bot laners have been having a lot more 1v1s than usual with the supports perma roaming with the meta, but when the team does join, they get the extra. And the only price you pay is Sylas pushing on mid for 1 wave here. You know, that is going to be, you know, at least a little bit. Quid's actually going to be able to work off 2 turret plates from the mid lane, so not bad from Quid. He actually does punish a decent amount for the Ryze roam, but that's the whole idea. Look at the roam. You can see on the mini-map right now, very early, they're heading down. Rahel's idea the whole time, I'm just setting up, but Yeon lands so much there of his skill shots that he got Rahel low enough they could go for the flash. It's just the final one does not hit the Mystic shot as he's running away.
Nice try. She's there.
I mean, it was a nice try. He almost got him, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of just you have to call the shot. Is he going to go right or left at the end with a Mystic shot? He shot left. Rahel walked right. Unlucky, and that's first blood for Sentinels. But we do have 30 seconds on the clock until our next dragon spawns. Sentinels did secure the first one, no contest. They got 2 out of 3 of the grubs. They're owning neutrals early on.
Also, when a play like that happens, I think the only comm you can really do is nice try.
Yeah.
That or somebody talks about the information on the roam and like, maybe we need to call a little bit earlier that the possibility there for the Ryze moving and stuff like that, or the vision control here between mid lane and bottom lane is the most critical pathway for vision to be kept up, because it is so frequent for those mid laners to roam as well as the supports making use of that pathway. So definitely a dangerous one, and Sentinel is really happy with the early stages. I mean, this is such a great start for this Sentinels squad with the Dragon and the double grubs and the gold leadoff kill.
And now CoreJJ with a quick stun onto huhi. But worth pointing out, you could see that DARKWINGS completed his Rod of Ages 10.5 minutes in because he got the money from that first kill down here in bottom lane. And I think that that might be very important this game because of the fact that the second dragon is spawning right now. So as long as these dragons are dying close to when they're spawning, you're going to get that DARKWINGS full stack power spike right around the time that the 4th Drake of the game comes online, which, you know, if Sentinels continue controlling these, that could be a soul fight.
Yeah, the extra level is crazy good for Ryze, so getting it really early is quite nice. Steals the Jarvan ult.
Yep, they're trying to go in now as DARKWINGS in some serious danger. Stunned up, gunned down. Yeon takes the kill, gets revenge for the earlier play in bottom side here. And now with the enemy mid laner out of the picture, Team Liquid has total control over this bot side river. Yes, huhi's hanging around, messing with the vision a little bit, but it's still Jose, Yeon, and CoreJJ maintaining control. Quid still around with the stolen ultimate from HamBak's Jarvan, so there's not really a chance for Sentinels to try to step up. TL is going to secure themselves that Ocean Drake as Quid goes in. The True Shot Barrage flies through, but Rahel and huhi are both able to get away from the Cataclysm with a nice combo of Killer Instinct plus the Battle Dance.
And I gotta say, as the play's not even quite done yet, as long as huhi's able to get out though, that was just a large positional error from DARKWINGS, and that was with full information. Sentinels, they had the little vision set up on this dragon. They had the ward in the banana brush. They had the ward from mid lane as well, and so they fully saw Quid. They saw this Sylas, but Quid's able to get really easy access to the Ryze and just connects and instantly kills him, earns the objective, and quickly takes away that momentum we were talking about building it. So here, look at these wards that we're talking about in the banana bush, in the mid lane there, and DARKWINGS is just throwing damage at this Leona. And it's just quick and easy access here for Quid straight to the Ryze, who has no way out. So that is just not respecting your opponents while you don't have your summoner spells, and now
he's caught by the Solar Flare. CoreJJ trying to stun him up and stop him here, but DARKWINGS manages to escape with a Realm Warp, gets himself out of danger. But I'm not liking the pattern that we're seeing here, Kobe. DARKWINGS continually finding himself in these troublesome positions. Josedeodo does not connect, the wind becomes lightning stab, so he can't try to catch up to DARKWINGS any further here. Rahel, huhi, and HamBak all making their way over. They know that TL is overloading this bottom side, and they need to be able to stop it.
And even when you do stop it, look, you give something towards mid. So while they don't kill DARKWINGS this time, you know, Team Liquid are getting a lot out of punishing his cooldowns on his summoner spells. They force him back. They force the extra person off the map for Sentinels, which gives up extra minion pressure. Whether it's going to be bot lane or it's going to be mid lane, depends on the rotation from Sentinels. And Team Liquid really doing a good job here towards the last couple of minutes to retake control around this part of the map. It also has meant top lane, the island, just kind of continues up here. And, you know, as soon as the Gnar does get to the steel caps, it's really safe and feels quite nice. So Impact's been able to stabilize pretty easily up there. And you're going to have to look at how each one will affect the team fights. Kind of as you were alluding to earlier, who's going to have the bigger impact on these team fights. And when they both have flash, there's a lot of playmaking from either of these top laners.
Yeah, we've got the Rift Herald spawning in less than 45 seconds. Morgan already has his Eclipse fully completed, so that'll be a massive power spike if we get a big team fight up there. Impact still putting the pieces of Trinity Force together since it costs more than Eclipse in general, plus he went for the fully completed boots like you were just talking about. But both of our top laners do have the teleports ready to go, so if Impact needs to recall before a Herald fight, make those purchases, he can definitely get it done. DARKWINGS shoving up the wave here in the bottom side. HamBak and huhi both hanging around, but now huhi's got to be a little bit careful. Does use Grand Entrance to make an exit as Josedeodo making a counterplay up here in the top lane at the same time. Sentinels continues walking away in the bottom side as Impact jumped on by Jose, gets the Mega Gnar into the wall after the audacious charge, throws back about half of Jose's health bar in damage as wind becomes lightning again, will not connect with the stab. Jose won't be able to chase any further, but hey, they already got a win. That's Impact Force all the way off of the turret. He'll lose out on the wave. Morgan's going to farm some plates. TL feeling good.
Yeah, nice power move because they don't give up a weak spot on the map while they're doing it. They are able to get the reset out and teleport over for this Rift Herald.
Oh, baby. All right, here we go. It's down to half HP by Sentinels, but Team Liquid is already arriving in time to try to contest, and immediately Quid goes in with a stolen quickness. The damage onto HamBak is huge, and CoreJJ's already got the first kill. huhi about to die with the projectiles in the air that chase him down. Rahel barely hobbling out. Quid goes over the wall, but he will not hit the abduct as Rahel has also flashed and cleansed. He's done everything to try to get out of this one. Quid chases, and he slams the chains down on him. DARKWINGS now trapped underneath the turret here in a 1v3. Impact trying to provide a little bit of relief for his top laner as Morgan trades aggressively, and Quid goes in for yet another one. Just like that, Kobe, a game state that wasn't even 500 gold apart explodes, and it's Team Liquid watching fireworks.
It's the Quilus! Quid is unleashed, and he teleports in with the stolen Rakan ultimate. You don't even have time to blink before he just wins the whole team fight for his team with the engage. Impact was walking bottom lane. Sentinels did not, you know, expect this teleport from Quid. I guess they did not, you know, pan their camera up there either. Impact's channeling his teleport now. Guess what? The fight's over before the top laners even arrive with him engaging with that quickness, and they quickly finish the job there as Morgan gets the public execution off as well, and Quid is gonna be rich now. I mean, Sylas already 7 stacks on the Dark Seal with these extra kills, with the extra money. Yeah. This is Team Liquid's Summoner's Rift now.
Gone are the days of a man with lousy shoes and no potion to drink. Quid has found his way to the promised land. He is living the summoner's dream out here. 2-0-3, full kill participation, has his Chovy belt already done with the Haunting guys in inventory along with the fully upgraded quest boots. This Sylas is feeling great, but you know who's also feeling great? Yeon's Ezreal, man, up 2,000 gold over Rahel on the Kai'Sa. Trinity Force got completed a long while ago. He's got the Manamune already fully built. Will evolve into Muramana here with just 60 more stacks worth of mana stacked. It's I'm starting to struggle to see how Sentinels come back into this that doesn't involve TL goofing.
Well, maybe they just create some action in the river. Let's see what happens here.
Well, for all the action we just saw, Morgan's health bar is still looking pretty good. Flashes out of the Cataclysm now as Sentinels still trying to commit onto the top laner of TL. They finally get the shutdown, but it's going to cost them at least one. Solar Flare forces Flash out of Darkwings. Josedeodo here with the audacious charge, ready to follow it up. Wind became lightning, assuredly that time, and Jose strikes twice. It's Yeon picking up the kill. So even though Sentinels send the whole kitchen sink after him, yes, they get their man, but it costs them even more. 2-for-1 play for Team Liquid, with Quid continuing to apply pressure in the top lane at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, Yeon is on the Dream Spike, as you just said, with his 2 items compared to the 1 for Kai'Sa. And the damage follow-up there from Team Liquid was more than enough to collect the extra kills. I think we're going to have a quick one, Flowers. This one already going so heavily in their favor, and I think it's going to continue that way.
Yep, and you can see right there, it's another stolen ulti used against the man he stole it from. Impact buried with a Mega Gnar as TL sends extra backup to the top side, making sure they continue taking plates, taking kills, taking names. 8-2.
So Flowers, yesterday, when our game was very heavily going the way of one team quite early in the game, and we had Tactical up here, and we're casting with him, we started talking about the size of the dogs in the LCS.
Okay.
And the biggest of the dogs, one of them was Team Liquid, the other one was Lion.
A dog the size of a horse.
Both
Big
of
old
those,
dog.
Both of those dogs looking quite good today. I think they were appropriately sized at the top of the LCS standings. I mean, it really does feel like both of our teams that we sent to MSI, you know, this international play really did improve them. It's like a Dragon Ball Z episode where they're
hyperbolic time chamber.
They're training in the hyperbolic time chamber. They were already our 2 best teams.
Yep.
And then they also got time training.
Goku was already the main character before he went in there and got stronger.
Exactly. So, like, you set up the 2 best teams, and the 2 best teams got to go practice against all the best teams from around the world, and did very well versus them. Top 3 region, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Upon returning to the LCS here, both Team Liquid and Lion have not had any sort of hangover that people, you know, will sometimes bring up that is very possible when you go off to international competition and you're under the stress of constantly playing, constantly practicing, but doesn't seem to be affecting TL or Lion at all, even with Lion not having inspired. They have not even slowed down. So both these 2 teams really do look like they are going to defend their spots towards the top of the standings that they had in spring and continue with them in summer.
And HamBak is on the run, but I don't think his feet are taking him very far. Yeon unstoppable. Team Liquid just prowling through the enemy jungle, looking for whatever they can find. And sure enough, when you find the enemy jungler and the clock reads 21 minutes, it's Baron time. TL, 7,000 gold ahead. It's about to be around 8,500 or so as soon as they secure this objective. Nobody on the Sentinel side can do anything about it. Quid will teleport down to the bottom lane to guarantee that Impact doesn't get anything in return as the Baron is claimed. There's the 8,500 I was talking about, and now you've got 3 minutes of hell for Sentinels as they try to endure the Team Liquid push.
So if they've got 3 minutes of hell ahead of them, what were the 21 minutes behind them like?
Super hell. This part's actually a vacation. Yeah.
Gotcha.
You think hell's bad. Wait till you go to super hell. It's really bad.
Oh, man. They just keep leveling up these video game levels.
Well, yeah, man.
Well, Impact's that's his own personal hell right there.
Yup, it's getting a little toasty down here in the bottom lane as Team Liquid, they have a 5v4 now for the next 35 seconds. They've got everybody grouped up down here in the bottom lane except for Morgan, who's applying that second point of pressure over in mid with his Ambessa. Now Sentinels are going to try to have to figure out how to hold the line here. True Shot Barrage takes 40% of Rahel's health bar all the way away as Yeon and the rest of TL just going to push up brute force their way into the base here in the bottom lane, take out the tier 3 turret. Morgan was right there to guarantee that Sentinels wouldn't be able to try to do anything to stop it. Now they're going to switch their attention over to the mid lane right thereafter. The minions are still doing plenty of work, chipping away at this bottom inhib. Quid stays nearby to keep them enchanted. Now they're going to knock down tier 3 mid, inhibitor bot. Inhibitor mid is exposed. That one will go down next. And just like that, Quid with his single pick in the bottom lane turns into 2 inhibitors gone, and the game might just end right here. It's already 1 kill. Make it 2 as huhi drops. Team Liquid are bloodthirsty, and Sentinels got a whole lot of blood still to spill. Team Liquid, though, forces them all the way back into the fountain. Sentinels in a 3v5. There's not a lot to do. Impact wants to try to teleport in there just for the extra shield. Jumps in the middle of everyone, gets a 3-man Mega Gnar, but it is not enough for even a single kill. CoreJJ with a Protoplasm Harness healing himself up, and now Yeon goes godlike, Rahel goes down. Sentinels all dead here at the same time as a solar flare hits the fountain at the very end. 15-2, Team Liquid slammed them.
It's a 23.5-minute game in 2026, Flowers?
Yup.
That is hard to do with all these turret plates and everything. All right.